So it's time, and some people were already waiting. So let's begin. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. It looks like it's a bit of a dark day today, but I expect sun to come a bit later. It's going to be a warm, nice day. So my name is Nevin. This is going to be a yoga qigong fusion class. So I'm an instructor doing both. Some classes I sometimes have only yoga, sometimes only qigong, but this is the fusion. It's a combination of the two. And I'm also a student at the Virginia University of Integrative Medicine. That's why I like to bring more and more of qigong things and acupuncture points, and maybe certain points where the energy can be in a way flowing with a bit more ease. So I'd like to introduce those also in some of the classes. Just to kind of manage your expectations in that regard, there's going to be both. And sometimes when people do only yoga, they may be surprised when they see qigong elements, or when people are doing just qigong and when they see yoga, they may be like, oh, what is this? So I hope you are kind of ready in a way to have an experience of both of them. One thing maybe I just want to finish with this. I've been practicing yoga for over 25 years, I guess, and qigong is more recent. And what I found, actually, there is a lot that can be learned or integrated in a practice from both modalities, both in terms of movement and kind of mind-body integration. That's why we're doing that in this class. And I hope you like it, and let me know how it goes, and let me know if you have any comments, questions at the end. So for this class today, we will start in child pose, so you can have something to support your knees. I have a blanket here, so if you have a towel or anything like that that you can use to support your knees, again, it's optional, but if you have it, it's going to be helpful. Also, yoga blocks or water bottles or cans of food or something like that to support, maybe almost like extend your hands would be helpful, or cushions or bolsters or pillows, maybe sometimes to support your knees, again, especially when we go to Shavasana, would be good kind of props to have. So when we try this child pose, I have blankets here. You can also have another blanket, for example, on top. And sometimes when you have some issues or some tightness around the knee joint, this pose may not be very comfortable. I'm fully aware of that. So for the ones who can do it with just like one blanket and taking it easy, you are bringing your hips to the heels. But for those of you who may have some constraints with the knees, you can keep yourself either in the child pose, the tabletop pose rather, or maybe come into this puppy pose where the hips are lifted. So the tension, let's say, for the knees is going to be less. Yeah. So you can play, or like to be in between. You can even place actually cushion on top here so that you're not dropping the hips completely to the heels. So just taking a few moments here, we're going to be relatively active to begin with. So reaching forward with your hands, but do it gently, as if you are almost like lengthening the sides, almost like creating space for your armpits. And you can even do this like one hand reaching forward and then the other one. So you're moving forward and backward. You can even like have your hands come back and then reach forward. If your hips are on the heels, same thing. Maybe your hands are reaching less towards the front, but we are actively stretching. It's good to do those things in the mornings. You know, we feel a bit stiff and things are tight in the morning right after we get out of the bed. And some of you may be waking up very early, so this question or this kind of invitation is not relevant. Maybe you have already done some other practices, who knows? Just do that a few more times, again, actively reaching. You can also try to bring your hands into tent position, so fingertips are pressing, and stay there, but just move side to side. almost like rocking sensation. And those of you who weren't doing that, so bring your hands into this position. So hands on the fingertips. Again, either hips are lifted or not. But we're gonna start to do this rocking side to side to help the hip joints to warm up a little bit with this rocking sensation side to side, telling the joints like, be ready, we're gonna be moving. Let's warm you up. Let's circle you. And now slowly release your hands. Again, either hips are up or not, but release the elbows down and lift your hands. Just give them a break, circle them one way. Both hands are moving, so wrists are circling. And then the other way, circling. Again, just very simple one. And now slowly release. Now reach forward with your hands, and whichever position you chose, either puppy or just normal child is fine. But bring your elbows down to the ground if they were not there. So your forearms are on the ground, and we're going to be sliding and gliding and kind of moving back and forth here. So then you inhale, lift the hips, reach forward, and come a little bit almost like in front of your wrists. Feel the spine extending, the front lengthening. And then as you exhale, round the spine and bring the hips back to the heels and the elbows down. So forearms back onto the ground. Inhaling. We're going to flow like that for a few times. Exhaling, round the spine, chin to chest, draw the belly in. And then hips to the heels, elbows to the ground. So forearm on the ground. Big, nice breath. This is like a whole undulation for the spine and almost like entire body, helping all of the joints, upper body, lower body, get a little bit more active. Exhaling. The movement is completely coordinated with the breath, almost like breath is initiating. So inhaling, as the breath starts, you start to move to the front. And then exhaling. As you exhale, sinking down or bringing the hips back. Let's do that 2 more times. And exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale. And when you come up next time, bring yourself into just table pose. You may like to draw your hands a little bit backward. And when you are ready, step forward, coming into the lunge pose. You can have your blocks if you have them, or without the blocks, your hands are on either side of your foot. We're gonna slowly lift the knee. So for the whole class today, I'm not able to see all of you or observe all of you. Please take good care of yourself, because it's really important to stay connected with the body, the sensations and everything else. Like the body is kind of giving you feedback constantly. If anything feels painful or too much, don't go there. And you can always come to the child pose or adjust or modify. I will already be offering some modifications, but please make sure that you are taking good care of your body, because this is a self-care practice, so make it a good one. So with the knee bent, have the knee aligned with the ankle here. And once you have this kind of aligned position, tuck the toes under for the back foot, and then lift the knee. As you do that, you will notice a big stretch probably. And as we almost like work on this stretch and make it like a real extension of the stretch, it takes, they say, about like 90 seconds to feel a good, nice stretch. And we're going to be maintaining this position, but dropping the knee down and up, almost like a pulsing a few times, as we are just opening the big muscles in front of the leg. Lift it, dropping, inhaling, exhaling. Lift it again one more time, and this time as you exhale, drop the knee down and take a moment to adjust. We're going to move into hamstring stretch to straighten the leg, the front leg. And as you do that, if you're using the blocks, to roll them back. If you don't have the blocks, your hands are going to move, slide back. If you have blocks, it's going to be kind of relatively easier or like moderate, let's say, for the stretch. If you don't have the blocks, this may be too much. So give a slight bend to your knee, please. And here, as we are stretching again, taking a few moments, maybe not as much as 90 seconds, but close. Keep stretching the leg. If you like, you can play with the foot, maybe side to side or closer to the ground and lift it. But have the spine also reaching forward. This sense of almost like chin and chest coming closer towards the big toe. They're not going to come very close, but that's the intention in a way, like reaching forward. So it becomes a stretch for the leg and then the entire spine. It's good to have more space between vertebrae because we sit for too long and vertebrae get a bit almost like too close to each other. And then slowly from here, we're going to slide again, find the lunge, this time using the legs in a very active, engaged way. You can have the block or without the block. I'm going to do without the block, but if you have a block, please have it handy. Lift the knee again and hand on the block or on the ground. Slowly feel your other hand turning out. Maybe just like become aware first how that turn happens, the engagement in the legs, and then the sense of like the inner legs really hugging together, and perineum is also engaged. And from that strength, all like everything is kind of under control. You're lifting and gazing out to the side in this lunge twists. You can do something with your hand if you want to for the wrist. And as you exhale, release, bring the hands on either side of your foot, framing the foot, and then take the leg back in tabletop position, or maybe you can go into child pose. And taking a moment to compare right side, left side, notice any changes. Really being very closely connected with your experience. With your next inhalation, lifting up and coming into the lunge for the other leg. Again, using the blocks or without the blocks, but your hands on either side. Knee is aligned with the ankle. And then tucking the toes for the back foot and then lifting the knee. Finding your strong front leg for the other side now and tapping the knee down and lifting. Down and up. You can coordinate that also with the breath. Feel that, notice that we're kind of taking time to slowly open the front. Knee bends and almost like touches down, it doesn't have to, and then lifts again. And then slowly with the next exhalation, drop the knee down and then slide yourself back as you transition into a hamstring stretch. Now from the front of the other side, stretching, back of the front leg, stretching. Again, taking a few moments, saying hello to hamstrings on this side, playing with the foot, and notice maybe how it's going to affect your the different fibers of the hamstrings at the back. Notice like when I move my foot to one side, I can feel like a different fiber, and when I move this side, it's more like on this side. It's almost like working, it feels like in kind of opposite side fibers are working. You can also play by bringing the foot down and up. And then slowly, as we lift, again, finding the lunge, and then bringing the hand inside on a block or on the ground, and then lift the back knee up. Notice the engagement again. Your legs are becoming already like very active. Can you keep drawing your inner legs close towards each other? Pelvic floor is active to hold, so this entire core area is very active to hold you, and out of that, you're turning towards the side And then gently reaching up with the hand. Feel free to maybe make a circle or do something with your wrists. And as you exhale, slowly release, drop the knee down and take that knee also next to the other. And here, either stay in child pose or slowly lift yourself into a downward facing dog pose. And for those of you who are in downward facing dog, you can have your fingers really widespread. Have a sense of you're making almost like a frame with your thumb and index finger. So middle finger is really open, almost like straight, but slightly out towards the side. So when you have almost like the most or best aligned position, let's say, upper arms are going to be turning a little bit out. So you have this action of like whoops, so that the weight is going to be distributed mostly in the index and thumb area, because this part of the wrist bone is bigger and can take more weight. So notice if your weight is on the pinky side, kind of change this position with the hands a little bit, turning the upper arms. That's going to also create space for your neck, and shoulder blades are going to kind of slide a little bit backward. That's going to be more like aligned position, let's say, for the downward facing dog. And those of you who are staying in tabletop, that's fine. And then if any one of you wants to use a chair, it's always available. Have something handy, one of those foldable chairs. They are just so good to find some extension anytime. Or I mean, if you don't have this kind of a chair, you can also do one of your regular chairs for that purpose. I'm just going to put this back. And then slowly, wherever you are, I'm just going back to the tabletop position. If you are in downward facing dog, gaze forward, and then step forward with one foot, and then the other one. Coming into a forward fold. In forward fold, if you are working with unmedicated high blood pressure or so, please do not bring your head below the heart level. But otherwise, you can grab your elbows with opposite hand and shake your head loose. In any case, your head maybe is very low, or maybe knees are deeply bent and you're just shaking kind of like side to side, right to left. And slowly, as you are feeling your feet firmly grounded, start to engage your belly, open your arms out to the side. And as you're staying here, you can see my hips are sliding back. Knees are bent slightly, but they're not passing in front of the toes. So make sure that hips are really gliding back. Your arms are open out to the side to begin with. And then gradually, we're going to play with this, arms reaching forward. We're still in chair pose. I know things are going to get tough. And then open. But this pose is so good, actually, for many respects, to really build leg strength and muscle kind of density around the hip bones. We all kind of need something like this. And then do that one more time. And next time when you have the arms open out to the side, press your feet firmly down and start to rise up. Coming up, and as you come up, interlace the hands if you like, or maybe hands are just pressing. Reach up towards the sky and then side bend. Inhale back to center, release the hands, and exhale to the other side. Do that. Let's do that one more time, but this time just grab the opposite wrist and just stay here for a few breaths. And as you are stretching, feel entire side extending as you keep pressing the outer edge of the, in my case, left foot. Pressing and lengthening, so pushing down, almost like to rise up. So this whole area from the waist, armpit, and the inner part of the arms are stretching. Back to center, move, grab the opposite wrist, and then to the other side. So taking a few moments to feel this whole stretch. It's good to have this kind of extension so that we're creating more space for our lungs. As you can tell, the intercostal muscles are really extending, stretching. And with your next inhalation, reach up high. And as you come into the center, open your arms out to the side and lift your heels. Notice this moment of, oh my God, is there? It can be, and it's perfectly fine. But notice just like this engagement, just lifting the heels, engagement of your core, how it gets very active. So feel your strong core here. Your toes are also really working hard. All the the joints rather of your feet. And slowly, as you release the heels, feel the ease. A sense of, oh my God. And then turn your palms out to the side. And then very slowly bring your hands, one hand into the belly, one hand into the heart and chest area. And take a big, nice, full breath and exhale out through the mouth. And do that one more time. Big, nice, full breath in. And exhale. And as you do that, take a moment to connect with the breath fully. Notice the inhalation. Notice the exhalation. Notice maybe this sense of presence with full awareness of these sensations right under your feet. And maybe your heartbeat is still kind of fast. Maybe there's more heat. Becoming aware of all of those things in the body. You can kind of feel almost like physically. And also mentally. Whatever is there, notice. Your inner conversation matters a lot. I cannot tell you enough. Like whatever you keep repeating yourself, they say, becomes a habit slowly. So just notice and bring yourself to just this moment with a sense of curiosity. Instead of kind of thinking of the same thoughts again, which we tend to do a lot. So when you are ready, slowly release your hands. And then from here, we're going to move into something from Qigong. So I'm going to move my blankets to the side. So for this one, have space between your feet, about maybe shoulder width apart. Turn your feet to begin with parallel to each other. So the outer edges of the feet are parallel. And you can have a slight bend in your knees so that the tailbone is down and you're almost like neutral pelvis position. Instead of this way or that way, we're kind of in the middle, but belly is a little bit engaged, but open all these groin area. And similar versions are also practiced in yoga, as you will see. We will slowly start to turn, sway the arms side to side, but notice at the beginning, knees are not moving. So the action is happening only in the waist, and you are gazing towards your heels at the back. Your head is down. So a few rounds of just like simple arms swinging side to side move, or empty coat sleeves, sometimes they say. So arms are really relaxed. We're kind of letting things to be loose at this stage and gazing downwards towards the sides of the feet and then the heels. And only the upper body is moving. And we will slowly, still knees are not turning, just make sure that knees are just facing second and third toe. Now slowly bringing the hands more like around the chest. And at the back, you can continue to still tap almost like the middle part, this part where the kidneys and one of the big energy points is located around the kidneys or in between the kidneys. But the arms are a bit more kind of parallel to the ground. And your gaze is also towards the sides now instead of your feet. Just keep doing this. We're going to do this a little bit more. And now slowly take your hands up overhead and you're gazing. You can also imagine like there is a ball between your hands and you're gazing towards one side and then the other. Your knees are not turning. Watch out for the knees. Still kind of only or mostly upper body focused move. And now we're going to slowly bring the hands sideways, turning a little bit more. And now we're going to add lower body as well to integrate upper and lower parts. So next time when you turn to the side, lift the heel as you reach with hand towards kind of across diagonally. And then the other side. And imagine there's a ball between your hands and you're throwing the ball. And to this, you can also add a little bit more like weight shift. Come down, sink down, and then lift up. So it becomes a lot of like almost like cardio. That's not the intention, but naturally when you go down and lift your weight, when I lift, this foot is almost like empty, as we say in Qigong. So most of the weight is in that leg, but you're turning also. There's kind of a lot happening. You can do this very slowly or faster. However, like whichever pace feels right for you. Just do that a little bit more. Maybe one last time to each side. And then slowly, as you come to the center, we're just gonna change this to tapping. So for this one, we're gonna tap through the whole body. We're gonna start with the lung meridian. The points are here and the nest of the shoulders, as they say. And then the back is gonna be Ming Men point, or the point right around the kidneys, where the gate of life, door of life, they say. My hands are in loose fist, or you can also just like slap as well. So whichever feels right. Very loose fist with the hands. And these lung points are important because they're kind of, they have a big role in immunity. This protective chi, guardian chi, the energy is related to lungs. So we're helping in a way our lungs to work better, hopefully, or let the energies kind of flow by activating those. And now we will slowly move into a little bit more just like lung specific action. So as you slow it down, bring yourself here, but now we're gonna tap through the lung meridian, which is the inner part of the arm, a little bit kind of upper part of the lower arm, and either with a fist or cup hands, you're coming all the way down, or slapping. So whichever one feels right for you. Maybe I'll do cupping, and then up, all the way. Let's do that one more time. We're gonna do the same thing for the other side too. It's good to have these kind of things actually done. I almost do this every day, I would say. And slowly bring yourself to the other side. It's good to have our immune system strong all the time. And these days especially, it's even more important. So when the energy can flow through the meridian lines, it would be helpful. And lungs are the main, or one of the main organs, let's say, that's responsible. Because we're exposed to external world through the lungs, as you can tell, all the air and kind of we're breathing all these viruses. It's a good point for them to kind of sneak in. And then now to the thymus gland area. And again, this can be fist or one hand if you want to feel a bit more. Thymus gland is also another area where the immunity cells spend some time on their process of becoming better, stronger cells. And now we're going to move down. These are more for the liver on the side. This is spleen, but the side body is also, again, good to activate in the mornings. And then slowly we will come down towards the back of the hips. We can also take some time actually here around the Mingmen, again, this area, the door of life. A lot of times when we work too hard, let's say, or when we are too busy or overexert ourselves, it could be anything that we go into like exaggeration, that would tax the so-called essence in Qigong, as we like to think of it. It's almost like our vitality is reduced. So this tapping or activating of this area could be one way of enhancing, let's say, quality of our essence. And now slowly tapping downwards from the middle part. We're gonna do just the back of the legs. So you can have a wider stance if you want, but have your knees bent deeply. And then tapping the back part of the legs. Bend your knees deeply, and then see if you're, you can still kind of maintain the torso parallel to the ground. Feel free to sit on something. You can just like maybe sit on a block and then do it like this too. So you decide if you don't want to go for the whole forward fold. And now go through the side of your feet and the toes to really tap them. There's so many points just around the toes. And then inner feet, inner seam, and then all the way up. I'm now slapping for the inner leg. These are the yin parts, so it's kind of compared to the yang, which is stronger. This part may like to be more gentle, let's say. And then again, maybe with the fist hands, and then back. This time we're gonna do the side of the legs, sorry. And then coming all the way down again slowly. You can do these much slower. It can be so effective actually when you do that. And then all the way down. Again, don't neglect sides of your feet. The pinky finger side is linked with the bladder, for example. Any bladder related issues, squeeze your small toes. And then tap, slap, knock other toes. Big toe, inner part. Again, a lot of points, very good points there. And then through the inner leg line, coming upwards. Please adjust your knee position as we are moving along. And now coming and almost like the peak points for all the lymphatic nodes in this part. And we're going to be doing this. This is one way of doing, or it can be both hands in fist, or fist and slap, or fist and slap. So it doesn't matter actually. We're basically increasing the circulation in this area to help our lymphatic system flow with a bit more ease. These are almost like pumping, and you can also add a little bit of a like bouncing, bending the knees and lifting, just to help the lymphatic system to move things faster, better, because it doesn't have its own pump like the blood has for the heart. So just for the lymphatic system help and immunity. And then we will slowly just move a little bit upwards to continue with this, and then do something for another big area for the limbs, armpits. And then move to the other side. Almost like covering entire body, entire skin surface. And then back into the thymus area. Just tapping, tapping, tapping. And then we will slow it down as you slowly bring the hands in front of the belly. And now when you bring the hands in front of the belly, again, watch out for the position. It's slightly tilted, knees are bent. Bring your, or become aware of your thumb and the index fingers. The hands in front, and notice the sensations, maybe between your palms. Or imagine there's almost like a connection between your index fingers and then the thumbs. And as you are breathing, imagine taking the breath almost to this kind of triangle in between your hands, your fingers rather. Drawing it in, really deep belly breathing. Inviting the attention, inviting the breath to go down deep into the belly. You can close your eyes if it feels comfortable. Or really have the attention. Imagine you are really kind of building almost like a shield, let's say, with your arms. And this is almost like the seal of these points, so the thumbs and the index fingers, which are related to, again, the lung meridian, and this protective energy, to strengthen this protective energy around us. guardian chi or wei chi, it's called in traditional Chinese medicine. And very slowly, we will, it's almost like a standing meditation, as you can tell. Bring your feet close towards each other and just take a moment to feel. Just notice any changes in the energy, any changes in your almost like inner physical field, as well as the mind. Maybe you're a little bit more present for your experience. Who knows? Maybe not, but it's all fine. Just become aware of like wherever the mind is. That's the key. When we start to notice like, oh my God, I'm again thinking about the same thing for the 5th time, that's like the kind of breakthrough. We have managed to, in a way, kind of cut the cord of this conditioning that happens automatically a lot of times. Coming to the long edge of the mat, let's do something from yoga. Open your feet wide, and again, something very familiar. Let's start with warrior 2, and we're going to kind of squeeze some other things in. So turn your front foot parallel to the long edge, back foot turning in, and we're going to slowly bend the front knee. But before even we do this, become aware of the outer edge of the back foot. So the inner arch is lifted. Don't let your foot kind of turn in. These are very simple things, but important to have this alignment so that we're not hurting. Especially if you want to be a long-term practitioner, it's good to do poses right, because things start to change, especially as we get older and wiser. Open the arms out to the side, feel them at shoulder height, but drop the shoulders down so there's no like holding all the way down, up. And then bend the knee and take maybe 1 or 2 breaths here. And as you are holding, notice again, even though we're still, the mind is still working, no? And can you invite the mind to really focus on the middle finger of the front hand? Watch out what happens with this back hand too. So just keep that reaching high. Happen a lot. And as you're breathing here, notice things are changing. Maybe heat is being built, but can you relax the shoulders still while we are holding? Can you have the breath steady and smooth? And gradually, as we will change this, drop the hand into reverse warrior or exalted warrior. And here, you can also have this hand maybe coming all the way, wrapping around if it comes, but don't worry about it. Maybe just like on your side, gazing up towards the palm. And very slowly, press your both feet firmly down to reach up high, so legs are straight. Can you now push that hand down, so palm is parallel, and this hand turns up. So this is a variation of most famous, again, Qigong poses, pushing or separating heaven and earth, or sky and the soil underneath. Very active stretch for the arms and side body, as you can tell. And as you exhale, slowly release. Just take a moment to bring your feet parallel and just notice again. These comparisons, once we do only one side, is a great opportunity. Oh, like, look at me, what I've done, you know, all this flow and change kind of starts to happen. And you maybe just notice something, oh yeah, this side actually is a little bit different. Moving to the other side, again, making sure that the foot is parallel. This foot, back foot is active, turned in 20 degrees. As you bring the arms into shoulder height, slowly bending the knee. As you bend, make sure that kneecap is really facing second and third toe, or like towards the middle part of the foot. And even though you're sinking, the outer edge is still active. Gazing towards the middle finger of this hand this time. And notice if you're leaning forward, that tends to happen also in a lot. Can you bring yourself just up? As we are breathing, can you notice now what is changing? Is there heat increasing, or is there maybe thoughts coming, or is there resistance, or is there like questioning, doubting? Anything is fine, just noticing. Don't kind of follow the train, but just notice all the action that's happening. And then slowly, as we change into reverse warrior, bring the hand either wrapping around or maybe on the side. Lift the hand up to, in a way, keep with the stretch that we have been doing a lot on the side body. Gazing up towards the hand. If everything feels comfortable, balance is okay. You can just gaze towards the side as well. And then slowly, as you straighten the leg, turn that hand up, then lower hand down. Again, big stretch, but even a little bit more kind of increased as we turn the palm face up towards the ceiling and this hand towards the ground. And very slowly from here, release your hands, turn your feet parallel, and let's do a big, nice kind of forward fold here. Roll your shoulders if you like before we go down. Turn your feet so that the big toes are closer towards each other than the heels. So that's going to be more like pigeon toe, as they call. Inhale here, lengthen. And as you exhale, slowly start to bring yourself. First, stay maybe a moment in when you are just like parallel position to the ground, maybe rocking a little bit with the hips. And then slowly bring the hands down. And here you can do maybe this very wide-legged stance, almost like down dog. And then hands on a block is an option. Or even like 2 blocks, you can bring both of them to the front if you want to. Or just maybe 1 block. Or hands on the ground, but we're extending everything actually, really wide-legged stance, reaching. And gradually bring your hands back. Keep one hand somewhere in the middle. It can go all the way back or maybe somewhere in the middle. Open out to the side for a twist. Gaze towards the side or up maybe towards your hand if the neck feels comfortable. Don't push it too much, but just have a sense of turning in. Your belly is also engaged here. Turning, rotating. And as you exhale, change this position. Bring the other hand inside. And then slowly open to the other side. Your legs are stretching in a big way. You're opening, your belly is rotating. And as you exhale, slowly release the hands. Both hands are on the ground. Start to bend your knees and heel toe your feet as you bring them close towards each other. I'm just playing here for a variation almost of Malasana before we go down to sit. Feel hip joints, almost like moving one way, the other. And the bases of the toes, balls of the feet are almost like being massaged. It's good. There is a point here that connects us to the earth. So we're almost like gently massaging that point as we press one side and then the other. And then gradually bring yourself down. And here we're going to do, again, mostly for the leg stretches. And I also have a yoga strap. So if you have some kind of a strap or tie of any sort, or maybe even like a long towel could be used, but it's not kind of a requirement. So as you extend one leg here, you can do this, of course, lying down like this. I'm just turning towards the screen and adjust maybe the flesh on the side a little bit, so you can feel the sit bone, this bony part right underneath. So find that. Become really familiar with this sit bone idea, because it has so many implications in terms of being aware of the pelvic floor and then other things. And as you stretch that leg, so you can drop that foot inside. So let the sole of the foot touch, maybe very actively. But if it's kind of painful for the knee, it can be maybe just at the front as well. We're mostly focusing, stretching this leg and using a strap. And you can place the strap either to the ball or maybe to the arch, whichever feels comfortable for you. And then extending, lengthening the spine first, and then reaching forward. If you don't have this, don't worry about it, but keep the leg is stretching, but spine is also still kind of elongated. So tailbone down, top of the head is reaching. At the beginning, you're just reaching forward with the chin and chest. This idea of really creating space between the vertebrae is still there in a big way. Your hands are maybe grabbing the sides of your whatever you're kind of reaching. Maybe you're just tiny bit of reaching forward, maybe more. Maybe some of you will be able to grab your toes. It's all fine. We're all kind of built in different ways, and our kind of exercise habits are very different. So just noticing wherever you are and being okay with that. And very slowly lift yourself up. Feel even in that kind of transition of the effects of what you have done. And now for a seated twist, you can continue to have that leg straight, or if you want to have it bent, you can do that. But make sure whichever option you choose, both sit bones are on the ground. A lot of times when we lift or when we do it this way, this sit bone is not going to be on the ground. We're kind of cheating ourselves, but the body doesn't lie. So the pelvis is not in its neutral position. And in the long run, it's not going to hurt when you do it like several times. But if you keep doing it that way, it's not good for overall pelvic joint health. So from here, your foot can also be inside as well, by the way. Otherwise, it's across. And as you draw the knee towards your chest, reach forward with the same hand where the knee is bent, and then bring it on your back, close to the base of the spine. You can maybe draw your knee with your elbow or wrist or just a hand. Feel a sense of squeeze happening in your belly. Just focus on that one. It's easy to open the upper part of the body, but just can you focus on this squeezing, kind of rotating from the lower belly. Just go there, because that's the real detox happening. I mean, it's in the intestines, or the way we help things move is going to be in the intestines. So that's where we're kind of aiming to squeeze there. And slowly, with your next inhalation, turn yourself back to center. Take both hands to the opposite side, just to align things back again. Release the leg, and Janu Shavasana again for the other side. Draw the foot inside. Find the sit bones, maybe draw the flesh a little bit. When the sit bones are on the ground, it helps the pelvis to rotate with a little bit more ease. That's why it's good to have it in that kind of turning, or it helps with this forward fold, let's say, that we're trying to get. Using a strap is always an option, and you're reaching forward with the chin and chest, or maybe without anything, but your hands are just on the sides. But just the effort itself is what matters, actually. It's not like you bring all the way down. Maybe you are very flexible and it's like great for you to do that, but otherwise don't judge yourself if you don't go too much or kind of go forward with easily. It's all okay, but you're putting the effort to extend, to stretch, to lengthen the back of the leg, and the spine is also kind of together. Now you're breathing steady, smooth, helping the nervous system also to cool down a little bit. And then slowly rising up with your next inhalation. Again, for the twist, seated twist, watching out. Sit bones, sit bones, sit bones. And then as you keep drawing the knee towards your chest, spine is long. Don't let the spine kind of be slouched. This is very active, as I said earlier, drawing, even if there is maybe in the belly area, draw it a little bit almost like out as you bring the knee. And then feel the squeeze almost like really in your lower belly area, helping the intestines to move things, this peristalsis. Because now we're kind of squeezing that area, but once we release, they're gonna get like a flush of like movement and blood, so things can move with a little bit more ease. And this time of the year, by the way, is good for twist practices because it's the detox time, as you know, probably this spring cleaning idea. And with your next inhalation, turn yourself back to the center. Just take the hands outside again. And then release. And then from here, we're going to go down. So find your way on the ground, on your back. You can grab the back of the legs and then slowly bring yourself down. And just take a moment before you do anything, actually. Just like feel your spine right now on the ground. Feel all the points of your back, kind of the trunk. Let them relax. Almost like let them understand that, yeah, now the position has changed. Now we are just resting, kind of completely lower activity or lower engagement with everything. And it's kind of turning into like a full relaxation shortly coming. And now draw your knees towards your chest, have your hands on the kneecaps, and start to make a couple of circles for a few rounds. Reverse the circle. You can also do this like rocking as well, whichever feels right. But just like let the low back especially to release any tension, anything that may have happened. And drop your knee down. And a few rounds of just like windshield wiper movement, dropping both knees to same side and then to the other side. Your hands, if you like, they can go up overhead in the opposite direction with the knees. And after you do those, maybe one or two more, you can also just like rest on one side. You can slowly take your time though, take maybe another 2 minutes or so to bring yourself into Shavasana, the final relaxation pose. And if there is anything else that your body would like to do right now, other than this windshield wiper movement, please go ahead and do that too. Staying connected with the body and also having this sense of like, oh yeah, we're coming to the end. And make sure that your body feels like, oh yeah, your practice is complete. Things feel like, okay, now I can put kind of the full stop so that you can rest in Shavasana completely. Maybe practice doing nothing. I'm assuming by now you found your way to Shavasana. And as you come there, just take a moment to turn your head side to side to release any tension again around the neck area. And then at the end, have your face gazing up towards the sky, but extend the sides of the neck so that chin is tilted towards the chest a little bit. That's going to help with more like inducing relaxation response. And have your hands and feet open in such a way that you are, all of them, both sides are equidistant from the center, from the spinal line. And as you find this position, just take a moment again to connect with all these points that are in touch with the ground right now. Your heels, back of the legs, buttocks, and maybe other part of the back body, torso, back of the head, back of the arms and hands maybe. And notice that you are supported. Feel almost like gentle holding of the Mother Earth. So relax even more. And use the next few minutes to practice doing nothing. There's no way to go, nothing to do. It's just an exploration of doing nothing. And even for the mind, if it still wants to be busy, wants to engage, wants to kind of plan and see all of those thoughts as clouds in the sky, maybe send a gentle smile to them as you prefer to choose or prefer to stay in practicing doing nothing. Gradually start to feel your breath again in your nostrils first, maybe. And as you reconnect again, allow the breath to go deeper down towards the belly and make it active. Full breath in, full breath out. You can slowly bring some movement into your hands, your feet, maybe fingers wiggling, wrists and ankles circling, toes moving, small moves. If it feels good, you can take your arms up overhead, come into a full body stretch and feel yourself 1 inch longer. And then gradually make a circle with the hands and draw your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And say something nice to yourself. Maybe thank you, just simply. Or maybe like, oh my dear, have you noticed what I've done for you today? Let your body almost like know this effort, this practice, this time that you have dedicated as your own good self-care. Having this nice relationship with ourselves is such a big gift in life. And slowly drop your knees towards your left side if you like. Just take a few moments in this fetus position, maybe making a cushion with your hand, arm supporting. And then slowly press your hands down, extend one leg, maybe as you slowly bring yourself up into a seated position. Finding again long spine as you sit comfortably on something, maybe block or bolster or anything is fine, but just taking a moment before you transition into the next thing, the effects of your practice. Again, reminding yourself that this practice, self-care is good healthcare, as they say. And when you are ready, you can bring the hands to the chest. And if it resonates with you, bringing chin to the chest to bow to the light within. Namaste. Thank you, anyone, for joining. It was a